Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're going to be having a look through my second lot of vintage number-only Pan books. This is numbers 151 up to number 300. So this is going to be a series of 3 videos and this is part number 2. So sit back, relax and let's take a look. Okay then, so hopefully you've already watched part 1 where we went through the original hardback editions, the unnumbered softbacks, and then we're into these, which are the numbered only ones, which really soft spot for these. It was the series I most wanted to complete when I started collecting Pan books, and I have actually got them all now. There's a few variants and things I'm still missing, but on the whole I do have a full run. Now, this one dated 1950, so we have crept into the 1950s here with this Western. Destry Rides Again, a Max Brand, not one that I've actually read, but I don't mind the odd Western. Now this is another one which, if you have a look at it, Told in the Dark, Book of Uncanny Stories, could almost be considered a forerunner to the Pan Book of Horror Stories. It's a stories with a bit of a dark edge to them. It's not edited by Van Thal, this particular one, but it's a little old anthology of some classic stories there. Dunkerlees, Howard Springs, bureau jacket here, and you'll notice distinctly from the very first part of these that the books are starting to get a little bit more lavish jackets now, and Pan is starting to experiment. I think in a few cases we may have more than one copy of it where the book has been reprinted with a different jacket. There's Safe Bridge here, but to the best of my knowledge they are all first Pan editions here. There Ain't No Justice, number 155 here, a Pollock cover, obviously boxing there. Tales of Prize Fighters Underworld, Bowstring Murders, Carter Dixon, Nothing So Strange, James Hilton, a topical drama of a suspected scientist. Suspected scientist, eh? Lady Windermere's Fan. This is part of the Plays series. She's got slightly different writing there. A lot of these will move over to the G series a bit later on. Judge's Story, Charles Morgan. This is the first of many books which sort of look at different aspects of the law, almost like early true crime in effect, not a subject that ever really interested me, but some people find it interesting. This is an example where we've got 2 copies, so I've got the original edition, and which is that one, and then a reprint. So that first one there is 1 and 6, and that one was 2 shillings. And when they did the new price, they also decided to put a new jacket on it as well. So I don't have many variations like that. I pick them up nowadays, of course, if it's a cover I haven't got. But when I first started collecting Pans, I was just looking for the first edition, ideally. Escape to Quebec, Millward Kennedy, a highly original Secret Service story. Good stuff. That's got some cool overtones there, hasn't it? Wow. Agatha Christie, Murder is Easy. Always like Agatha Christie. There's the first. There's a reprint of it, but with the same number. Yeah, one number 161. 1951 now, that one. We do like old Agatha Christie on this channel, as you know. There's another one which is also a common theme throughout Pan, is you do get these odd books which are on like better English, better handwriting, things like that. This one's a really nice copy, but it's got a cover cut there, but I'm not too worried about that. It's probably already on my wants list for an upgrade. There's a real classic. Seems to be quite common, this one, H. Rider Haggard, King Solomon's Mines. Seems to turn up quite a bit, but it's a really nice edition of that classic book, given the Pan treatment. Hell and High Water, William MacLeod Rain, another Western. It's funny that in their early days, bearing in mind when these books were actually published, Pan did do a few Westerns, actually. Moondrop to Gascony, Anne-Marie Walters. Englishwoman's Adventures as a Secret Agent. And there's a second printing, so let's put these side by side. So that's quite a nice comparison there. Certainly the later jacket there is the better one. I mean, it really is. It's just much more in keeping with what you expect from Pan. And they certainly hit their stride come the mid-1950s. And we'll see that before this video is out, how their cover design has really evolved, you know, over that period. Full flavour, Doris Leslie, vivid family novel of 4 generations. 167 here, Mr. Churchill, a portrait. Look at Winston, one of many books around the time of the recent war leader. Another Carter Dixon, an HM detective novel, it says. The Pollock cover. You do find some of the crime ones are the toughest to find in really nice shape. Under the Red Robe, Stanley Weyman. The Body on the Beam, Anthony Gilbert. That's quite nice, isn't it, with a jigsaw being done there. A jigsaw piece waiting to go in. I do love an interesting cover like that. First Saint one today, The Saint on Guard, Leslie Charteris. Do like these Saint books. I've covered them in a separate video of The Saint in vintage paperback. You Can't Keep the Change, Peter Cheney. Another Pollock jacket, he did loads for Pan in this period. 172. Murder in Trinidad, bit of a tatty old copy of this one. A vivid novel of tropical island mystery. Oh. Yeah, needs a bit of an upgrade to that one. Tiger Man, author of Green Hell. Julian Duguid, A Great Hunter's Life Story. Another Western there, Forlorn River, Zane Grey. Cards on the Table. Another nice Agatha Christie there, one of my favourites. Really nice design, that one. Really, really nice. I love these. 1951 still. Another classic, The Valley of Fear, Conan Doyle. Pam would do all the Sherlock Holmes books. Then Mistral Hotel, Stephen Lister. A sparkling comedy of the Riviera. Inspector McLean's Holiday, George Goodchild. Famous Detectives' Stirring Adventure. The Puzzle Lock, R. Austin Freeman. 9 Cases of Dr. Thorndyke. Another Western there, The Shadow Rider, William Colt MacDonald. Ten English Love Stories. Look, a new collection chosen by Herbert Van Thal. So I wonder if he did actually edit that earlier Uncanny Stories anthology. It does look very, very similar. I'm not 100% sure he was even working for Pan at the time, but I'm sure my friend Tim might be able to sort that out and leave a comment down below. Sir Hugh Walpole, The Sea Tower, love story. The Great Impersonation, E. Phillips Oppenheim. Mendoza cover, that's quite imposing, isn't it? Another famous Secret Service novel, it says. There's an absolute classic Pan, if ever there was one. Dashiell Hammett's The Maltese Falcon. What a beauty that is, eh? Absolutely lovely. Gorgeous stuff. Mary Wakefield and Mazo de la Roche. One of the White Oak series there. 187, Magnificent Obsession. Lloyd Douglas. By the author of The Robe, etc. 189, The Provincial Lady. E.M. Delafield. Seven Short Plays, for reading or acting. This is in the famous play series again, with that design by Burt. There's a Noel Howard on the front. Still life. Serena Blandish, or the difficulty of getting married, Enid Bagnold. It says gift edition illustrated by Burt. Oh, it's got a couple of odd illustrations inside by the look of it. Too Many Cooks, Rex Stout, and Nero Wolfe detective novel. Another greatly designed jacket, that. Very, very nice. I Too Have Lived in Arcadia, M. Belloc Lowndes. Famous novelist's charming narrative of her early life in Paris. So here we've got The Fountain of Life. Now this is Pan number 194. Prose and verse from the Bible, and this was the one that, if you remember in the first video, we did show this hardback here. So this was also released in a hardback edition, a more permanent form perhaps for this, and it also came out using the hardback boards, it seems, in a slightly oversized paperback version using the original paperback sort of cover. So there is actually 3 versions of this to get your hands on. I've just got the regular edition and then the hardback, but I believe the hardback's quite scarce to get as well, but one to look out for that. Then we got Don't Get Me Wrong, Peter Cheney, a Lemmy caution thriller. We got another Mazza de la Roche, number 196, Jalna, another White Oak, Dirty Eddie, Ludwig Bellemans, a novel of Hollywood, gloriously funny, apparently. 8 Tales of Hoffman, excellent stuff. Bargain Basement, Cecil Roberts, popular author's romantic novel of a big department store. That's number 199. And Pan number 200 goes to Agatha Christie, Murder in Mesopotamia, one of the goodies. Really, really like this one. Hercule Poirot. My copy's a little bit on the worn side, but I believe it's a first. I think all mine are now. Yeah, it's a first, but it's a bit of a tatty first, but we are into 1952 now. The late George Apley, John P. Marquand. Ripeness is All, Eric Linklater. Another fantastic design jacket. I really, really like that one. Very, very nice indeed. Evocative of a period slightly earlier than when it's actually been printed. The Lady Vanishes. Brilliant thriller that made a famous film. Okay. India Rubber Men, Edgar Wallace. Those classic ones. The Glass Slipper, M.G. Eberhardt. Another great jacket there as well. The Wind Cannot Read, Richard Mason. 207, Father Malachi's Miracle, Bruce Marshall. The Saint in London, Leslie Charteris. Originally titled The Misfortunes of Mr. Teal, 208. The Man Who Found Himself, Naomi Jacob. Clues to Christabel, Mary Fitt. It's quite nice with all the hands coming in there. Grass in Piccadilly, Noel Stratfield. Famous author of Bally Shoes, I believe. And Paradise Place, Warwick Deeping. Good stuff. Real favourite of mine here, Out of the Silent Planet, C.S. Lewis. I really like the pan editions of these. I think they're fantastic. Really nice. That's number 213. And next 214, Mine Own Executioner. Nigel Bolchin. Dramatic novel, filmed and broadcast. So there we go. Two Names Upon the Shore. Suzanne Ertz. 215. The Secret of Secret Valley. It's another Western there. Jackson Gregory. It's funny, a lot of the Westerns have got that yellow background because that's how a lot of Westerns at this period were printed by the other publishers. It was like, you know, crime would be synonymous with green. Westerns would often be synonymous with the yellow cover. So that one fits in quite nicely. The Wild Sweet Witch. Dramatic novel of India. Grey Mask, Patricia Wentworth here. A Miss Silver thriller. The Case of the Curious Bride. Earl Stanley Gardner. Perry Mason. Great one here. Stamball Train by Graham Greene. Very nice indeed. Really like that. Graham Greene, his early ones. Puzzle for Fools, Patrick Quinton. A Peter Duluth mystery. Another great one there. Look, is she? Is that a blooded letter opener by the look of it in her hand? Oh dear. The Emperor's Candlesticks, Baroness Orczy. Still Dead, Ronald A. Knox. 223. You Can Call It a Day, Peter Cheney. You could always call it something with a Peter Cheney book. 224. Peter Abelard, Helen Waddell. And another very good spy novel, this, Ashenden, Somerset Maugham. You hear a lot of modern authors rave about that book. It's supposed to be excellent, if a little dry. Western here, The Heritage of the Desert, Zane Grey. Better English. These are both listed as number 228. There was a mistake in the lettering, so it's actually number 232. Better English, but it's listed as 228. There's the actual 228 from the City from the Plough, Alexander Barrett. Constant Nymph, Margaret Kennedy, 229. Portrait of Elmbury, 230. Lively Chronicle of a Country Town, John Moore. 231. The House in Lordship Lane, A.E.W. Mason. An Old Detective Story. Straight and Crooked Thinking, 233. So 232 would have gone in there, which was better English. Pharaoh's Daughter, Georgette Hare, 234. Results of an Accident, Vicky Baum. Quite a thick one, that. And another charter set, The Brighter Buccaneer. Very nice. Stories of the Saint. Number 236. 237. Minute for Murder, another absolute beauty. Look at that. Plenty of detail going on there, which I really enjoy. Nicholas Blake. That's good stuff. The Case of the Dangerous Dowager, and you can see how the cover style is sort of evolving here now. They're getting a bit more involved, a bit more adventurous. That's what we like to see. Another absolute classic. I remember the first copy of this I got belonged to my dad. It was in his book collection, and it was this very pan edition. It wasn't this exact copy, because I think this has been upgraded over the years, but it was 1953 now. It was his original. Islander Sheep, John Buckham. Another Richard Hannay. Very, very good books indeed. Murderers Make Mistakes, Freeman Wills Crofts. Pit your wits against Inspector French in these radio mysteries. And another great jacket there. Look at that. Walking along the side of the river there. Probably London. Another great one there. It's a Battlefield. Graham Greene, absolute classic. 242. Savoy Grill at 1. Stephen Lister. Big Business, Racketeering Exposed. Some Buried Caesar, Rex Stout. Look at that Nero Wolf. Look at them. They're carrying along a body wrapped in something. It can't be good, can it? It's at 245, which is The Trimmed Lamp. 25 Renowned Stories by O. Henry, the famous short story writer. He wrote over 1,000 short stories in his lifetime, and some of them, there's at least 100 of those, are absolutely outstanding. They're often cited as some of the best short stories out there. Stone of Chastity, Marjorie Sharp. Another very, very nice jacket, that one. Jim Maitland, Sapper. 247. A Forest of Eyes, Victor Canning, 248. Thriller by Really Magnificent Storyteller, it says. All Else is Folly, Catherine Gaskin, 249. Man in the Brown Suit, Christie. A great one again. Number 250. She was given another anniversary number, you see. Another beautiful edition of The Time Machine. I really, really like that. With the Man Who Could Work Miracles. Very, very good, that. I just love that edition. Very, very nice indeed. No More Than Human, Moira Laverty. Enchanting novel of a girl's adventures in Spain. Another one of those C.S. Lewis ones, Voyage to Venus. Fantastic. Really do like those C.S. Lewis editions that they published. Alias the Saint, a Charteris again. Very, very nice. Was it murder? Well, I don't know. A detective story. Bit of a rough old copy, that one, but it's there. Pilgrim's Rest, a Miss Silver detective story. Oh dear, she doesn't look very happy, does she? Number 256. Star Quality, 6 Brilliant Stories by Noel Coward. That's cool. Shelley Smith, The Woman in the Sea. 258. To Love and Be Wise, a Josephine Tay. Detective story more or less by the author of The Franchise Affair. I have got a Josephine Tay special coming up. Edgar Wallace, The Square Emerald, 260. Belief and Action, an Everyday Philosophy, Viscount Samuel Blimey O'Reilly. Best give that a wide berth. The Crock of Gold, James Stephens, with a foreword by Walter de la Mare, 262. My Late Wives, 263. HM Detective story. Copies over here, running out of room here on the desk. 5 Little Pigs. I've always found this one a tougher Christie to find in really nice condition, and I've had several through my hands and it never seems to turn up in great shape. 265. Operation Heartbreak. Ghost Stories of an Antiquary. Another scarce one. In nice condition, that is. 266. It's quite a thin little pan, that one. Turn the Key Softly. John Brophy. Mayor of Casterbridge. 268. 269. There's No Home. Walter de la Mare there, The Return, his famous one. Famous novel of Possession by Evil Spirit. 270. Sad Cypress, the first printing, and there's a reprint with a different jacket on. Let's move them over slightly so we can get them in. Very, very nice indeed. Love them all. I love them all. Next, one of my all-time favourite vintage pans, The Colditz Story. Absolutely love this. So much so, I have ridiculously 3 copies of it. There's a slight variation there in that they've got the red 2 shilling and a blue 2 shilling. I know one of these is at least a first printing, so we'll have a little look here. That's an 8th. That's reprinted twice, 1954. And that's the first. So that's the first printing. That's a slightly later reprint. And then that's the a much later one. But I love it so much. I have many copies of it. Peter Cheney, You Can't Hit a Woman. You're right, you can't. Another one of his Can't Do This and You Can't Do That. And The Angry Mountain. Hammond Innes. 274. Good stuff. Last few now. So we've got 275. Willow Cabin. Pamela Frankel. Ace of Knaves. 276. Another Saint one there. Very, very nice indeed. Dark Bahama. Peter Cheney. Another lovely one. 277. 278. The Silence for the Murderer of Freeman Willscroft. Looks like he's just finished a Cadbury's Cream Egg or something, doesn't it? A Superintendent Fresh detective novel. Pearl and Burning Bright of John Steinbeck. 279. 280 is Brat Farrar. This is by Josephine Tay. This is one that took me a little while to get down, to find a copy in first printing rather. This is the first. There's a slight variation with the reprint. From the City, from the Plough, Alexander Barron. 281. Master of Jalna, Mazza de la Roche. Very, very popular series. Penrose Mystery, R. Austin Freeman. 282. The Tall Headlines. Oh dear, look at this. Someone's going to get hung. Mystery of the Blue Train. Another Christie. Poirot. 284. All Glories Within, Bruce Marshall. 285. Then another real favourite of mine. Just love this jacket. The Return of Sherlock Holmes with the dancing men on the front there from the first short story. Love it, love it, love it. 287, Duplicate Death, Georgia Hare. Another England Made Me. 288, another Graham Greene. See what happened just a few years before here. Penguin had misspelt Green's name on the spine of I think it was this very book, in fact. So they he fell out with them, and I think he moved to Pan for the next few books until he went back to Penguin in the 1960s. But yeah, I think he sent them to Coventry for that mistake. The Moving Target, John Ross MacDonald, Lou Ayres thriller. I'd love to read the file about that, to be honest. Showboat, A Romance of the Mississippi, $2.90. The Mountains Have a Secret, Arthur Upfield. Napoleon Bonaparte thriller. And the last few now. It's a real classic, Escape or Die, Paul Brickell. Massive seller this for Pan Books. Great escape story. Case of the Fan Dancer's Horse, Earl Stanley Gardner. Perry Mason again. Central Stories, Vicky Bong. No Mask for Murder, Andrew Garth. Exciting crime novel in tropical setting. Rain on the Wind, Walter McCain. Full novel of dramatic and racy incident. Wow. This is a great one. Nice early science fiction. Spaceways. Mystery story of the very near future. What a beauty that is, isn't it? What a beauty. $2.98, The Frogman, another favourite of mine. Story of wartime underwater operations. This has got illustrations, it's got a photo insert as well. Yeah, good stuff that. Very much like that. $2.98. $2.99 is The Clue of the Twisted Candle by Edgar Wallace. And then number 300, the last one for today, is Open Verdict by Richard Cavern. Another crime one given the 300 treatment. An engrossing crime story. Nice copy of that one as well. And that is 1954. So there we are. So that's the second batch of Vintage Pan numbered paperbacks. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed looking through this latest batch of Vintage Pan paperbacks. Now the final part, where we go from number 301 up to the very tail end of the series, the last issues, which is about number 430, something like that. I'm including the first appearance of James Bond, will be in that third and final video looking at these, which will be out in about a week's time. Thanks very much for watching today. If you've not already, do please hit that subscribe button for regular vintage paperback content, and I shall look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.